how, beside the pain that you was going through and the distress of not knowing what was happening, how that problem was affecting other areas of your life?
Well, for school, for example, it was finals week. I wasn't able to go. I was missing out on my finals. I wasn't able to write. I couldn't remember my sister's name. I didn't.
It got to a point that you couldn't even remember your sister's name.
No. I didn't know what money was. You would explain something to me and I felt dumb because I didn't know what it was that you were talking about. It could have been a moment that we had and I have no memory of it.
And that was just not you.
That was not me. It felt like something else was taking over my body. I was not present. Most time I was in a room and I just felt odd. I didn't feel like I belonged.
So you felt like somebody else was living your life.
Exactly.
So it got to a point that you couldn't tell the difference, in money, like.
I didn't know. My mom would give me money and say, this is for that. And I didn't know what the 20 was. I didn't know what the 10 was. I was just confused.
And you couldn't even remember your sister's name?
No, I couldn't remember my sister's name.
Wow. So it was really bad.
Yeah, it was.
And then your grandmother said, come to Jamaica because here you will find solution. And tell us about that.
So that was a trip that I went to Jamaica and I wanted to go see this pastor because I said...
You thought it was a pastor?
Yeah. I heard he had his church, everything, so I wanted to see this pastor. If this was the person that was able to help me, to make me feel like myself again, I wanted to feel like myself again. So I went and met with this pastor. At the time, he told me everything that was going on. He told me the person that was involved, and he told me that he could help me. So I had to pay him first before he could help me. So
no money, no help.
No money, no help, no. So I had to pay him so that I could get help. And he said because of my grandmother knew him, he would give me a discount. And I believe it was 60,000 Jamaican dollars. And
quite a bit.
Yeah, when you think about it, the plane fare, everything. So then he told me that he gave me a list of things that I never heard of, never knew they exist, that I had to go buy while in Jamaica so he can make a remedy for me. The first thing that I had to do while being there was that he had to give me a bath. The first day I arrived, he gave me a bath himself. Then after he gave me a bath, he gave me something in a bottle to drink. I don't know what it was, never asked.
Whatever he gave you, you just wanted to get better.
Exactly. And he told me after the bath that he gave me that I couldn't shower for 3 days.
Whoa.
So I had to keep that on me for 3 days. So while I was in Jamaica and shopping around with the list he gave me, I couldn't shower while I was there. Then when I had to go back to him, on the list was to get 2 pigeons. I got those, and then other things that he put on the list, brought it back to him. He sacrificed the pigeons. He poured the blood on me. Then he gave me yet another bath. And then after he did that, he tied the pigeons in a box and told me I had to jump over it and walk around it.
So a whole set of rituals.
Yes.
That you had to go through.
I had to do.
In order according to his way of setting you free, you had to go through it.
Yes.
So after paying the money, you had to get all this stuff, and then you had to submit yourself to these humiliating rituals.
Yeah.
And hoping that you would get better.
Yes.
So Kimberly, you went through all that, and then you came back home.
Yes.
And tell me, problem disappear?
No, it did not. At first, when I came back home, I felt a little better and I thought it was okay. Everything went well. Then the summer started, and it started all over again.
It got worse.
It got much worse. The headaches became worse. Everything, I was throwing up. There was just so many things that was going on that I couldn't understand, and I felt like something was living inside of me, begging to get out. So then I found out about someone else. So I went to this person again because, yet again, I was looking for help. I went...
What people will not do in search of help. You wanted help. You wanted help. So you was willing to look until you find.
Yeah.
And so what happened to this next person?
Now, this next person that I went to, now I had to pay yet again. The first payment I had to make was, I believe, $1,250 was the first payment I had to make. And he told me that I had to do another bath. He had to do the bath. And in this bath, I had a rope tied around my neck. I was covered with a sheet. And there was just so many things that was going on. He had to light a candle and rest it on my back because this is casting out
Whatever was in there.
And then...
And what was the rope around your neck for?
I didn't ask. I don't know why it was there. I never asked. I just wanted to...
Get better.
Get better. And
so if this is what it takes to get better?
This was what I was going to do. And then I had to, like, he would give me, like, the soap he used, and, like, he gave me pennies and the rope and everything and told me...
So he took $1,200 and gave you pennies back?
He gave me pennies, and he gave...
Hold here. Friends, anywhere that you go looking for help, of course, if you go to the hospital, you know, you need insurance in cases money is required. And, of course... It takes money to get treatment out there. But when you go to places seeking spiritual help, and these people claiming to be people from God, and they tell you if you don't give money, you cannot get the help that you're looking for, then you know something is definitely wrong. Jesus said, "Come on to me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Whenever people are telling you, if you want spiritual help, you need to pay, then you just need to get away, walk away, because God is definitely not in that. Kimberly didn't know that, but I'm telling you now, Jesus came that you may have life and that you may have it more abundant. He paid the ultimate price for your life to be transformed and changed. So Kimberly, the second person had to give you back, put you through this also humiliating rituals, and you went through it. So tell me, things got better?
No, after he gave me those things back, I had to take them to a beach and throw them away. Because that would seal the deal. So it didn't work. I went back to him again.
Meanwhile, you're still suffering. You're still having the pain, the suffering, the torment, not able to concentrate in school.
No, I'm not able to concentrate on anything. I wasn't able to do anything. I didn't work that summer because I couldn't manage it. My head couldn't handle it. And when I saw things getting worse and I even went back to him, he told me that I was going to die in 2 weeks. But in case, if I didn't want to die, I had to give him $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the price was
climbing
high,
yeah.
climbing up. And at that point, what did you do?
I told him I wasn't going to do it. I told him I had faith that something was going to come out better for me. And I called my mom and I said to her, "Mommy, we're not going to pay him that money."
The mom was, of course, as a mother, she wanted to do whatever she had to do to get her daughter better. And you told her, "We're not going to do it." And what she said then?
She said, "If you believe that you can get better some other way, then we'll work that way." So she decided to go with my way. Then we found out about another pastor and went to see this pastor. He then he charged me, of course he did. He told me that I needed to pay him because the remedies that he had to make for me, they were costly. So he gave me a specific type of soap that I needed to use for 9 mornings.
And supposedly a pastor.
Yes. I started going to his church also, and he gave me some things to drink. Then he gave me some things to clean out my room with.
So he actually had a church setting?
Yeah, he has a church.
And so he does all these rituals there in the church?
No, he has a side office.
A side office where he does the rituals?
Yes.
And he shows up in church and does whatever?
Yes.
Super. So you had a whole lot of experience with these so-called pastors out there.
Yeah.
And nothing got better.
Nothing got better. I started losing hope. I gave up. I remember November when everything started going down the drain in 2014. And I passed out and I went into the hospital. I laid down on the hospital bed and I said, God, this is it. I said, I'm ready to go. I want to go now. I'm tired of going through all of this, not seeing any improvement. I'm going to churches, I'm going to pastors, and no one is helping me. I said, I want to go now. I'm ready. And a voice came to me and reminded me that when my mother was pregnant with me, she wanted to abort me. And she went into the abortion clinic 3 times, and she couldn't do it. And at that moment, I realized that God gave me life, not someone else. So how was I going to let someone else take my life away from me? So my mother cousin found out about TTOR, and I was invited. I remember the Sunday, and the Saturday before, I was in bed. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything.
So that's when your mother's cousin found out about the Temple of Restoration.
Yes.
She probably heard. She used to attend, or
No, a coworker told her about it.
That God is setting people free here.
Yes.
And then she spoke to your mom.
Yes.
And so tell me about that.
So the Sunday, my mom told me about it.
Did you ever thought, am I going to see another one of these pastors who's going to put me through all these rituals again? Did that cross your mind?
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
The first thing, honestly, when my mom told me about it, I only went and came to TTOR because of my mother, because I wanted to see her happy again, because I already knew in my heart what I wanted already. And when I walked into the doors of TTOR, I remember I saw Pastor Junior, he was preaching, and then someone gave me a magazine, and I was reading through the magazine, and it was saying all these testimonies, and I said, wow, they must pay them a whole lot to give these testimonies.
So you saw the testimonies of miracles that people were experiencing. You said, these people are paying them to say these things.
Yes, I thought they were paid. So I said, okay, we could just get this over with. I can hear what this pastor have to say at the end of the service, and I can go home. Because I was tired. I was, after going through so much with pastors already, I didn't want to hear anything else from any other pastor. So I met with Pastor Junior, and he started to talk to my mom. And then he told me what was going on with me, what he felt. But then he said, I'm going to pray for you. That was the first time I was hearing that. I'll pray for you. All the other times, it was money first.
Money first, rituals after.
Yes. This time I was hearing, I'll pray for you. So I was okay with that. And he prayed for me, and something happened within my body. I did not know that my body could react in that way. I became scared. I was surprised. With all the rituals that were going on, I never seen something like that happen with my body.
But when he prayed for you, automatically you felt things started to come out of you.
Yes, things started to move. I started to vomit. I was shaking. So many things were going on. I couldn't comprehend it all. Then he spoke to me after everything, and he said, you need to meet with the bishop. And I said, where do I see the bishop? He said, Dean Street. I said, okay. I said, okay, I'll go. Now, the Monday night, I came to Dean Street. And when I walked in, before I even met with you, I walked in, and the message, the word, it was like I felt something different. Something was different about it. I knew from that moment that I felt like I was home. And I said, okay, maybe this could work. I met with you, and I knew it was God at that moment, because now being in the temple and seeing everything and knowing everything, to know that you were able to see us that night, right on the spot. You never said, oh, no, you have to wait, or wait, this is how much it's going to cost you to see me. You sat us down, and you said, you told me what was going on with me. You said I needed to do 7 link of prayer. And I said, okay. At that moment, even sitting in front of you, my head was twisting and turning, because the demon that was there did not want to face you. And I said, okay, just 7 Fridays, that's all I needed to do. So when I started, and you told me the 7 link, no cost, just my time to make it to church. And if I wanted an olive oil bless, then that would work. I was like, wow, is this real? Can this really work? And then you told me to anoint myself with the olive oil, and then you prayed over me. And the transformation that went through my body was like something did not like the presence here in the Word of God. Something within me just did not like it. My face started to twist more. The pain became more. It's like something within me was very angry, was upset that I was getting help. It did not want that for me. And more I went home, things just started to happen more. But I realized that I was getting more free. And I did my 7-link. I kept coming. I kept doing more than 7-link because I fell in love with the church. I fell in love with God. I started to know God more, know the purpose He had for me in my life. I remember I spent an entire Tuesday from the morning all the way back into the evening in Queens.
In the church, just hearing the word.
Just hearing the
Hold
word.
on a minute. Friends, this is what it's all about. When Kimberly got to the temple, she didn't have to go through no rituals. She didn't have to pay anything. There was somebody to listen to her, to spiritually diagnose her condition and minister freedom to her. And she talked about the 7 links of prayer. When people come to the temple with spiritual problems, we encourage them to do 7 Fridays for their deliverance. Why 7 Fridays? 7 is the number of completion. And in the Bible, for instance, the children of Israel, for 7 days, they had to march around the wall as they believed God to bring down the wall. Naaman had to go into the water 7 times for his cleansing. And during these 7 weeks was taking place, your faith is being built so that you can stand and resist those things as you are receiving spiritual treatment as we minister deliverance to you. So we call it a link of prayer, which is 7 consecutive Fridays where you focus on your freedom, where you are taught how to receive your freedom and how to maintain your freedom. But the deliverance comes through you through faith as we minister to you under the unction of the Holy Spirit. So Kimberly, here, nobody had to give you a bath. Nobody had to sacrifice no animals. You didn't have to pay anything. You didn't pay for counseling. You didn't pay for the spiritual attention that you got. And yet you ended up with awesome results.
Yes.
So Kimberly, where are you today? How is the Kimberly that went through all that, how is she today?
Well, there's been great changes with the Kimberly now. First thing, when I walked into TTOR, I was finishing up school. I had finals and I wasn't able to finish, but somehow I was able to do just that. I just graduated from college. And my first internship turned into my job. There's been tremendous changes in my life. I am more in one with Christ. And so much things that I never knew was possible.
And what happened to all those problems, all those symptoms, all those attacks? What happened to all those things?
I don't feel one of those symptoms anymore.
Praise God.
Those headaches, sometimes I forget that I even had those headaches. I was going through those problems. It's just like my life has been filled with so much peace and happiness. I'm not troubled by confusion and everything that was going on. I'm able to remember everything. And there's just so much health-wise. I've been perfect.
Wow. And what about your family seeing the changes in Kimberly?
My family, they're so happy. They came to the temple also because just seeing the changes in my life, they could not believe it. My mother, she's in relief. Everyone that was going through with me, because my family, they were very supportive, but they were also scared. So seeing Kimberly being back, Kimberly is just so much excitement for them that they believe so much.
So now they're all in the Lord as well.
Yes.
So Kimberly, you got set free, but you got more than that, because from what the enemy intended to destroy you also came a beautiful relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So now you have a relationship with God, and you've given your life to the Lord totally,
Yes.
and your family, they all come into the Lord as a result of the changes that took place in your life.
Yes.
Wow. What would you say, Kimberly, to people that maybe are going through the same things that you went through and are out there wondering, looking for solutions? If you could just talk to them right now, what would you tell them, you know, in a minute or two, if you don't mind, look into that camera and just talk to them?
I would say to someone that's going through or that has went through something that I've been through, that there is hope out there. You may be going to someone that you think is helpful, that your grandparents told you about or your parents told you about, but there is no better hope for you than God.
Wow.
No one else can help you the way that God can help you. You're looking at someone that has been through it, that has exhausted every option before turning to God. So my advice to you is turn to God. That's the person that can help you.
Wow, thank you. Kimberly, I'm telling you, I'm sitting here hearing your testimony. It has taken me to another level, because your testimony is a living proof that Jesus continues to be the same as he was then, he is now. And I really want to thank you for coming out and sharing your testimony in details as you have done, because you are not ashamed of what you went through, you know, and you are excited about what the Lord is doing in your life now. And I'm telling you, he has wonderful plans for you. You just continue to serve him. He'll take you places that you've never dreamed of. Thank you for coming to share your testimony.